All right. Good evening, everyone. You are highly welcome to today's Safeoclock Health and Safety Interactive Workshop. It's a pleasure to have you with us. And it's a pleasure also to meet us hale and hearty after 1 week. So, as our culture has been, we discuss a specific topic for the week. So this week, we'll be looking at safety inspections in the workplace. So, and in today's workshop, we'll take our time to look into those areas that people usually overlook during inspections and those loopholes that we've observed in the past. So we'll take time to discuss them and see how we can improve ourselves in this regard. So I'll hand over to Mr. Stephen to lead the discussion. I will still be at the background.
Okay. I believe we could all see my screen. I believe you can see my screen, right?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, let me see. Can you see it now? Can you see it?
It's coming. Yes, it's here now.
Okay. I would just want to welcome everyone who is here at the moment. And as the topic implies, we are talking about workplace health and safety inspection. It is very clear and explanatory when we talk about safety inspection. It's all about going around within our respective sites, respective facility, in order to be able to identify any hazard or risk, that could pose harm to either individual, which are the employees, or maybe cause damage to property within our respective sites. So in view of that, I would like to welcome us all to this presentation. And in this session, we will just briefly look at the importance of maintaining a safe work environment. We'll also try to look at the legal requirements or probably regulation, and just have a kind of flip of some common workplace hazard that we are all familiar with. And we'll also look at the roles and responsibility of both employers and employees, and what are the inspection processes, and also trying to look at how we could identify and assess risks, and also talk about implementing of corrective action. So going forward, I will just want to say some few examples of the importance why we carry out workplace health and safety. Like I tried to say earlier, is for us to identify any hazard, risk, anything that are dangerous within our respective work site, and find a way to curtail it. And basically, the importance why we are doing such is for human well-being, because it is often said that a safe workplace ensures physical and mental well-being of employees. This will also lead to higher job satisfaction and productivity. These things are practical. We are all professional. We know these things. Okay, so if we are bringing somebody who is not even in health and safety, then we have to be going deep. We have to be breaking down, giving the analysis for the person to understand how does it justify job satisfaction. We have to give justification of how it increased productivity. But as a professional, we know all these things, and we know how we can use this as a yardstick to also convince management within our respective organization. And also, we also know that doing inspection within the work site is also a legal compliance. It's also a legal requirement. So it is important for legal compliance sake for every organization or company to adhere to such regulation in order to avoid costly fine, lawsuits, or reputational damage. Because if those things are not done, an accident happen, it could cost the organization. They can be fined by the regulatory authority. They can be sued. They can be charged to court, and also the reputation of such organization could also be damaged, as we all know. And also employee retention, because when we carry out um, this inspection, it shows when it shows that we are being compliant with the legal requirements, you see that the employee will feel safe, and once they feel safe, when they feel that the organization is serious about health and safety, they know what they are doing, you discover that the employee will feel, oh, we have a very good culture here. And you see, they will be safe in order to remain with such an organization, and also contribute to enhance the safety culture of such organization. And when employees are retained, it will reduce what we call turnover rate within the organization. And this is one of those KPIs that in terms of safety, we also look at, organization look at, because when there's a high turnover rate, it means there's something. There are something that is chasing people away from such organization. It might not be only that of safety inspection, but we know what safety inspection can go or do in a long run, because it will be able to solve a lot of problems. Hazard risks, those things that can affect the organization and the employees would have been reduced if we follow the result of the inspection, and we follow the implementation of the corrective action as well. So going forward, when we talk about the legal requirements and regulation, there we'll be talking about Occupational Safety and Health Act. This establishes standard for workplace safety, and also enacted to prevent work-related injuries and illness, and also fatality. Because all these regulations, standard, all these things, they are set aside in order for employers and employees to follow some set guidelines, in order to carry out inspection, to make sure that the workplace is safe for every individual and also for the organization in terms of their assets, which they have. So sometimes we also have some specific regulation. This could be like a kind of additional guideline that are tailored to a specific industries. Now, when you look at the oil and gas, the process industry, there are slight difference when it comes to the construction, okay? But most things are almost the same everywhere. But because the oil and gas deal with some kind of more of hazardous chemicals, so you discover that some specific regulations could be applied in such kind of environment, because such environment can be highly explosive. When you talk about fire incident, it's very high and volatile in such kind of environment. So there will be need, for such specific industrial specific regulation, which could be quite different from the regular construction and all that. So all these specific sector specific are also very, very important, in order for us to work safely. For me, that's just the important thing. All these things are like a guidelines for us to prevent fatality, injury, or illness within our respective sites. And also the employee right. Workers have the right to safe workplace, protected from hazard, and they also have the right to report any concern without fear and retaliation. All these things have been specified into the Occupational Health and Safety at Work Act. So it is very important. It is very fundamental that we know this as an health and safety practitioner, because all those things are very, very important. So, and also when we look at some common health and safety, what was it called? Workplace hazard. There are so many. We cannot keep mentioning a lot. So I just decided to pick one, two, three from different, will I just say maybe from the facility or healthcare, construction, and probably the oil and gas or the process industry. Because when you look at the facility, the healthcare, even in normal offices, we're going to be coming up with something like sleep, trip, and fall hazard. These are peculiar within this such not that you can't find it in another industry, but I just try to pick little so that we'll just have a balance. So in such, even in the construction, when you have an uneven surface, it could affect even some wet floor. It could happen in all industry. So just like I've said, these are the common few hazards that can cause serious issue within the workplace. I've seen people, even in their home, who had a domestic accident, who had a slip, and the person died in the bathroom or washroom. In fact, such thing has happened to my wife some months back. My son was playing with his water bottle or something like that, and he splashed all the water on the tiles. Unfortunately, my wife and he wanted to throw the bottle up. So my wife was running to prevent him so that he doesn't even hit the screen of the TV. Unknowing to my wife, she just stepped on the water. The next thing she had a slip. She had a contact with the tiles with the back of her head. I am telling you, she was on the floor for almost 2 to 3 minutes. She was unconscious, but I was also, it took time. I wanted to even call ambulance. She was just telling me that she's recovering, she was just feeling it. So she recovered. Even with that, I wasn't like too comfortable. I had to take her to the clinic immediately. You have to do scan, you know, she see neurologist and all those, you can understand how all those things process is. Because even there's a woman in my church, I just discovered that for about 4 consecutive weeks, I've not seen her and her husband. I was not asking one of the members that I've not seen this because I thought they traveled, they went on vacation, until they told me that the woman had a domestic accident. She fell, same issue, water splash on the thighs, and she had a slip, and she fell. She fell. In fact, she had a broken bones. Her tibia and fibula got broken. That she has to do surgery. She was in Ahmad for almost 7 days. So these things, even it's not only the construction side. We are faced with all these things everywhere that can even lead to domestic accidents. So as a practitioner, we don't just only preach. We need to find a way to practice it and let people feel it wherever we are, even if we are in our respective home. Then also, when you look at about the machinery hazard, sometimes malfunctioning equipment, lack of safeguards, and inadequate training increase the likelihood of accidents. So it is also important and pertinent that regular maintenance and training are imperative, in order for people to be safe, within the work site and being prevented from such kind of accident and hazard. And also probably in the process industry, in the facility, in the oil and gas, you could come with chemical exposure, because when chemicals are improperly handled and stored, they create a kind of hazardous environment, which could expose worker to either respiratory issues, it could be chemical that can burn the skin, it could be chemical that can cause long-term effects, on the individual. Even when the chemical spill is also a potential for sleep, trip, fall at the same time. So it is very pertinent we understand all these things and also try to communicate it as an health and safety practitioner within our respective organizations. So when we look at the roles and responsibility, what are the requirements? What did the regulations say? What our standard says? I've said about this when it comes to workplace health and safety inspection. It is important that as an employer, employers should provide a safe work environment, conduct risk assessment, communicate safety policy, provide proper training, and all that and all that. And on the other side, on the side of the employee, it is very important that the employee follow safety protocols, they report hazard, they use PPE, participate in training in all programs, contribute to a culture of safety. And also for the supervisors or the line manager, they need to lead by example by enforcing safety procedure on site, in order to address concern promptly, and also to provide guidance and support to the employee. Now, going to the inspection process proper, for us to carry out an inspection on the site, in the construction, in some other site, we can call it site audits. Okay, inspection can come in different form, but the basic aim and objective is for us to be able to identify what is wrong within the site and recommend and provide recommendation for the management to correct. For those ones that require the safety to take action immediately, I know we are readily available to do that. But there are some corrective actions that require resources which are not in our disposal, as an health and safety, which will be coming from the top management end. So that might require some time, which will require implementation. So it is very important that to carry out an inspection, there should be a pre-inspection preparation, because we need to gather relevant documents. If you are going for inspection, you need a checklist. So even the normal ISO audits that we do is a form of inspecting the organization occupational health and safety management system, if we understand this. So even in the audit process, it involves a lot of documentation. So I will not go into audit. For a normal inspection, you don't just jump into an inspection. You need to look at what has been done previously. What documentation do we have? You have to review the past incidents. What caused it? You need to look at near misses and all that. We look at all those things. This will give us a picture of where to focus in the inspection proper. Because if we look at the past incident, what is the root cause? What causes it? Has the issue been corrected? At least that will project us to where to go to, what to check out for, or what to look out for. So at the end of the day, we begin to look at, has the management done any improvement based on what has been done or as a result of incident that happened in the past? So in general, it will make us have a specific area of interest, that has resulted to incidents, like I've said. So it's very important we have what we call pre-inspection preparation. And that will also make us have the site being prepared for and clear out some. Because if it's a consultant that is coming or the client, we know how it is done. If you are the contractor, you have to clear every unnecessary thing within the work site to make sure that they have less observation. So on the second point here, we're talking about on the inspection proper. So it will involve a kind of thorough examination of the workplace, whereby hazard will be identified, risks will be assessed. You need to and determine the level of risks, within the inspection, in respect to the hazard that has been observed. And also, such findings need to be documented using standardized form of checklist. You don't just go to the site and start inspecting. So with the kind of facility you operate, you should be able to have a well-designed checklist that can be used, because you cannot compare the checklist that is used in construction compared to that of facility, compared to that of oil and gas. There's a slight difference, So I think that is very important. Having done that, the last stage is we'll be talking about reports and follow-up, which is very important. It's not about preparing the site for inspection. It's not about the inspection proper. The most important part of it, as we will see it, in as much as it's coming as number 3, if there is no report on what we have done, then what we have done is as useless as anything. And also there must be a follow-up, especially from the health and safety side of it, because we will be the one to follow up, with also the management on implementing what has been done, based on the inspection. Because when we carry out the inspection, when we have to prepare reports, we have to look at all the hazard that has been identified. We have to write our recommendation, what are the corrective action and all that. You now have to schedule a kind of follow-up inspection to ensure that people comply, okay, even if the management has done what they need to do, to correct some necessary things. So are the people complying? So if you do inspection now, for example, and you feel, okay, we need people to be trained because we observe that, okay, the operators, they are not operating the equipment properly. And one of the recommendations is we should have a training or a training. And at the end of the day, you see an operator is using mobile phone while he's operating the equipment. So, and we already made a recommendation. At the end of the day, we just leave everything like that without going back to check if what we have done in terms of complying recommendation done, and we find out that such employee is still doing the same unsafe act and all that. So you discover that all what we undergone through the process of stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 will become useless. So there was always a need for us to do a kind of follow-up inspection also to be able to determine that, okay, what we decided is working perfectly and people are adhering to that. And also, when it comes to identifying and assessing the risk, as we all know how the process works, when it comes to risk assessment, you have to conduct regular risk assessment, which involve employee in the process. Okay, it's not just one man show, it's not one man race. A lot of people need to be involved. When you are carrying out an inspection, everybody, the HSE team, the management team, the managers, supervisors, and also the workers, some of them, can be incorporated into the process because there are some things you cannot see because you're not the person who carry out the operation, so you just go for inspection. So those people need to be carried along. They need to be involved because when they are involved, they observe that the organization care about them, care about their welfare, care about their safety. So you see them, they will even be the one identifying what we cannot see because they are the one at the point of doing those things. So they can be able to spot most of those things. So it's everybody's responsibility when it comes to that. It's not about health and safety. It's not about the health and safety practitioner. Our own is just to come and put the document, what we've observed, we put it in document form and put recommendation. But in identifying, everybody is involved. And part of our responsibility is for us to evaluate the likelihood and severity of those hazards that have been identified, within the inspection, and also try to look at the potential impact it will cause on employee and also on the employer as well, and also find a way to strategize or develop a strategy, that can mitigate or eliminate such stuff. These are what we do on our daily basis when we talk about development of risk assessment and all that. And it's also imperative that we have an organized system where these documents are well organized, and it's not just organizing it. We need to, whatever we find during the inspection need to be communicated. And it needs to be communicated through the right channels, to the management, to the workers, all stakeholders that are involved. So because it's very important that we understand this fact and it is being done on a regular basis. Now, for the area of implementing corrective measure, based on the inspection we have talked about, one of the ways we could implement all these things is about education and training, because it is important that whatever is the outcome, just like I've said earlier, that somebody who is operating an equipment is not working safely and all that. So many things could come up, okay, whether regarding equipment or not. So you discover that everybody at the level of the organization need to be educated, need to be trained, need to get some level of awareness. Even sometimes in some organization, even the top management, when you have a session where you have to present some stuff within the management, you can translate it in a form of an awareness to them. You might not just be like, oh, you are training them like the way you are training other workers. So sometimes most of the reports you present, most of the things you give them, end up being a kind of awareness. It's something that will open their eyes on something that they don't know or they lack the knowledge about. So in such case, we need to educate people from top to bottom. We have to create safety policies. We have to establish clear guidelines, policy and procedure that address different aspects of the workplace. Because if during inspection we are able to, sometimes we don't need to wait for accident to happen. During inspection, we might be able to discover some things, some loopholes, that will need a lot of correction within the policies and procedures we have in our workplace. It's not necessary that until we have change in management, it's not necessary that until we have accident on site, even when we go on normal inspection, things might change. Okay. And once things changes in that aspect, we can establish to review our policies and procedure. And also, it's also important that continuous improvement is adopted, whereby we regularly review all our procedures, like I've said. Involving employee in improvement initiative is very, very important. Even if you feel they don't know what they are doing, just get them involved. When you get them involved, the culture is changing positively. When you get them involved, you are having their buy-in. When you get them involved, you discover that your work will be even more less stressful than if they are not involved. If you discover when you work in a project where those people, those guys are not involved, you discover that the work will be more stressful on the safety team. But if everybody is involved, they know everybody has their responsibility. They know where they are accountable or their level of accountability. So everybody will sit up and get engaged. And that will make our work less stress and make the site less hazardous for any form of incident in the long run. So I would just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to share the little presentation I have with you today. Thank you very much. I will keep the floor open for those of us who have any contribution, any experience from our respective sites. We might have asked one or two challenges. We might have some questions to get in order to understand or to clear some clarification. We are all welcome to do that. I will say thank you very much for giving me listening ear. So, Mr. David.
Yes,
Here.
please confirm if you can hear me.
Absolutely.
You can hear me clearly?
Absolutely, I can hear you
clearly.
clearly.
All right. Thank you for the brilliant presentation this afternoon, evening. I think you took it from a different angle, different perspective, different dimension that we are very conversant with as HSC practitioners. However, you have touched virtually everything with regards to the literature for workplace health and safety inspection. I would just want to talk briefly on the practical or operational control implementation of the inspection. Inspection per se, during your presentation, you have made mention of, yes, inspection is a subset of audit, right? We cannot perform audit because you need to develop your audit checklist and you need to do your stage 2 audit, which is the process of maybe, depending on the audit method, maybe observation, interview with workers on the site, and also during documentation review, which is stage 1, you need to tick the boxes in your audit checklist, seeing if they conform with the audit standard and criteria, as the case may be. However, when we talk about the health and safety inspection, basically, especially in the oil and gas construction site, infrastructure, facility and other industries. The inspection basically is tailored to equipment, the environment, and of course, the workers, the people who are there. Examples of most inspections, that are done on the site. You see people having a checklist, a standardized checklist, as the presenter have said in the presentation, having a standardized checklist for checking their vehicles every morning before use to see if there is any deformity or there is, non-compliance with the comprehensive checklist. That's one. Two, for working at height activities, there is also standardized checklists to ensure that all working at height activities is performed in the workplace. Also, we have a checklist for, sorry, just a second. I didn't know my phone was not on silent. I just want to put on silent to avoid distraction. So we also do a lot of, utilizing the checklist, inspecting fall protection equipment, heavy duty equipment on the site, like crane excavators, side booms, wheel loader, self loader, and all of that. Before those machines are operated on the site, we do a checklist inspection of this equipment just to check the integrity, to see if they are fit for purpose or not. And also, before such equipment are brought to site, premiumization inspection is done, and that is also executed with the use of standardized safety inspection checklist. So these are the practical and operational, application of the safety inspections. Also, we do inspections for ladders, monthly inspections, and safety critical equipment like the showers, safety showers we have, the eye wash. We also ensure that there is standardized checklist for checking all of that, even as far to your fire first aid bus, first aid bus equipment. There are developed checklists to carry out inspections for your firefighting equipment as well. You also do safety inspections on them. On monthly or weekly basis, it varies. The frequency varies with organizations. And also, speaking about the inspection, we also have another part which is common. Some of us may call it safety walkthrough, but most companies, they call it leadership walkthrough, but it's all about ensuring that legal and other legal requirements with regards to health and safety is being complied or conformed with. So some of these walkthrough exercises are being supported with the aid or use of checklists, safety inspection checklists, just to ensure that they are able to cover all the aspects as they go out to the workplace. For example, processes like confined space, working at height, line of fire, excavation. So the head of the health and safety inspection checklist help us to ensure all of these areas are looked into, even including PPE, case may be, housekeeping as well. So that is on the site, on the workplace. This is how we perform the health and safety inspection. It's a very robust something. At the end of it, the report is prepared, right? Like the presenter has already mentioned, and we look at the areas of weakness, those findings, area opportunity for improvement are noted down, and of course, corrective actions are taken, and these corrective actions are assigned to responsible persons, and a follow-up is done to ensure that these gaps are closed at in order for us to maintain a positive health and safety culture in the workplace. This is my only two contribution. Thank you very much. It was time well spent and a value addition for me from the presenter. Thank you.
Okay, you are welcome. Do we have opportunity to hear from Mr. Andrew? If you are not on the road, we would like you to make one or two contribution, if it is safe for you. Well, in the absence of that, I would just want to say you just when you were speaking, Mr. David, I just recap some stuff that was not captured in the in my slide per se. Although I might have said one or two things, and I also want to welcome Mr. Kenneth and Mr. Mohammed Tayyab. Actually, you guys came in as at when I've finished the projection of my slide. But generally, we just spoke about health and safety inspection and why it is important we get involved with it in the process. And as we all know, if you have joined late, we can also access this on the YouTube channel of Safeoclock and get a recap or an overview of what has been presented. And to just add to it, like, when we talk about safety inspection, we all know from our standardized knowledge, even from the Bosch, IGC, and all that, we know that we have different type of safety inspection. Like Mr. David has said, inspection can come in different form. Okay, some sites, in some construction site, they will tell you they are doing site audits. Okay, now not audit in the form of ISO audits. Okay, so sometimes on site they will tell you they have inspection audits or audit inspection, whichever way they want to put it. But I see that in some jurisdiction they use it more often like that. Okay, and also site walkthrough is a form of inspection. Okay, safety tour is also part of inspection. Is a type of inspection. Okay, we also have what we call safety sampling, safety surveys. All these are form of different kind of safety inspection within our respective site. Also depend on the industry. Some specific industry might have a specific term they use for their own. In the oil and gas, they might have in the construction, they might have in this facility. They also have different terms they use to depict what form of inspection, because you cannot actually do everything, all forms of inspection, but it all depends on the peculiarity of your site or facility. I think that will determine what and what you will also do. Some form of inspection might just be done with the HSE team. The management will not be involved. You understand? But in most cases, when the management are involved, they will be talking about a kind of walkthrough or a kind of a safety tour, because the management are involved, So it's very important we understand that fact. So I think from my side, that is all I have. Though, if any other person like Mr. Kenneth, Mohammed, if you still have anything you feel, in as much that you came quite a little bit late, if you have anything you need to contribute or you need to know, you can gladly let us hear so we can chip in or reemphasize on those areas. Mr. Kenneth?
Yes, good evening, brother.
Yes, how are you doing?
Okay, I want to thank everyone, and I am glad to be here. though I'm not consistent always with the time factor. I would like you guys to carry on. I'm really enjoying the program. I'm really getting enough time.
Please, can you a little bit can you raise your volume a little bit? It's a little bit
Okay,
fainted, yeah. Hmm.
okay. I am saying that I'm really enjoying the teachings and the experience I'm getting here. And maybe some other time I will contribute. Thank you so
Okay,
much, bro.
that's great. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So it's fine. It's fine. So, Mr. Muhammad, do you have anything to say apart from interested in the slide presentation slide? You can get that across to you as requested.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to speak, add something. So you already discussed too much about the inspection, and also where is inspection involved, audit is also mandatory requirement. Do you agree with this statement?
Of course, it's mandatory. It's a legal requirement.
Yes.
Yes.
Because without inspection, we cannot proceed with the auditing. So audit and inspection both are involved everywhere at the workplace safety where is mandatory requirement. Also about if we talk about multiple hazards evaluation and identification procedures, we must do risk assessment before any kind of activity we are going to perform. So all the parameters must be involved, and also about the auditing procedures. The ISO compliance is also mandatory. So every activity and every inspection we are going to do, we must have to ensure the compliance towards ISO standards. So I think so. ISO framework is quite important in line with the inspection procedures and follow up as well. So all about you have discussed. So thank you very much for me being a participant of this training today. So that's all about from my side.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, you rightly said it. There is no standard when it comes to health and safety. There is no standard in the field, whether ISO or any regulations and stuff like that. You always come about safety inspection, which is very, very important. Like I have said, for those of us who were not opportune for us to, as in to get when I was doing the presentation, we could see that it is very important. Like I've mentioned it earlier, it's a legal requirement. There's no two ways about it. If you don't carry out an inspection, you are likely to get penalized. Organization is likely to get penalized because with lack of safety inspection, that could result to an accident on site. And once that is done, that will cost the organization a huge amount of money. We know what the cost implication is when it comes to having an accident on site. There could be fine from the regulatory authority. There could be lawsuits against the organization, and also there will also be a reputational damage as well. Okay, so and once we have safety inspection on site, this build a kind of human well-being within the workplace side, and like I've said, all this will lead to kind of high job satisfaction, and it will also increase productivity within the workplace. And once you do regular inspection and you do follow up, you do what we call follow up with the recommendation and all that, you discover that the employees will be happy. They will feel like remaining in the organization. The culture of the organization will improve, and that will also reduce the employee turnover rate, and which is one of those things we look out for, as part of our KPIs when we try to check out for all these things as an health and safety practitioner. So it is very imperative for us to encourage our organization, get involved advise those that need to be advised within the management on the importance of health and safety inspection. Thank you. Mr. Omojade, you came in as at the time we are rounding up. So we just spoke about health and safety inspection. So I believe you can as well tumble into the YouTube channel and have the opportunity to listen to what has been presented and what others have contributed in respect to health and safety. But if in your own light, in your own knowledge, if you have anything to say, either to advise, either by contribution, either by question, we are here to share it with you as well.
So, may I add something more?
Okay, you're welcome.
So, thank you very much. You know, the big difference between audit and inspection, mostly in inspection, we focus on what and focus on an action and quantitative questions, simple and creative actions. But in audit, we ask questions why this happened, focusing on the processes and qualitative approaches we use and complex scenarios we analyzed. So in inspection, we generally oversaw the procedures like we may include maintenance strategies as well, and also about schedule maintenance procedures and daily inspections, weekly inspections, monthly inspections, and 3 yearly inspections. So in view of all these inspections data, we prepare a plan, preventive maintenance, and also corrective actions and preventive measures according to the hierarchy of control procedures. So in overall, we are trying to mitigate the risks and identified hazards as well throughout our inspections, and our main goal focus on towards achieving excellence in auditing. So there will be no any non-conformance stipulated by the auditee. So these are the comparisons we analyze on daily basis, monthly basis, yearly basis by the means of inspections. So these are all things included in inspection as well. But thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution.
Mr. Francis, good evening to you.
Yes, Mr. Mojade, welcome.
Yes, really, I actually joined, but after some time, my network wasn't any longer friendly, so it edged me out, put me out. So actually, yes, inspections is a very interesting topic we discussed this evening, and I really want to appreciate you for all you did in making sure the picture was well painted to us, and you did a great job there, sir.
Thank you very much.
So I just wanted to say that you see, it's the major aspect of the inspection, like you rightly said, is the action plan aspect. Because if you've done everything and the action plan is not really what the team looks into, then that it's zero. Now, after every inspection, there are responsibilities in inspection, and they ought to come to an understanding that they ought to fulfill their own ends. Because you, as a civil professional, just making sure that these people, if make a follow-up on them, these line managers or responsible people in these their aspects, they really fulfill their own part of the deal. Because it will just be a waste of time if after you've done your inspection, there's no plan for the corrective action at the workplace. So that's just a little thing I want to add to what you said. The legal requirement aspect of it, yes, you are very correct, sir. If you're working with clients that needs you to show forth your inspections that you done over a period of time. You cannot really operate without really using this. There will only be increase in insurance premium. Some insurance companies, if they don't see these things. So I really thank you for this topic, and it's something that is well positioned, and it came at the right time. I appreciate. Have a nice day, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank every one of you that have made one or two contribution towards this discussion today. I pray for all of us to have a wonderful weekend ahead, especially for those of us in the Middle East. Our weekend starts tomorrow. So enjoy your stay. We hope to meet and convert back next week, Thursday, for an exciting topic also. I'm also having I'm preparing a nice topic which will be discussed, but I don't know if it will be this coming Thursday or the one after, which will benefit us as an health and safety practitioner, because it has to do with one or two challenges that we're going to be facing, and what are those skills we need to get in order for us to leverage, our expertise towards the global technological changes that is happening. So I believe it will be an exciting topic. So it's not just a topic that I will just come up with little or no information. I just want it to be robust, so that at least we'll have enough of traffic, on that particular day. So because a lot of us will be benefited from it, because it has not been discussed extensively, but I know a lot of people are talking about it. So it will have to do with the so-called artificial intelligence, and with respect to health and safety, because there's a lot of fear that a lot of people will lose their job. So we'll just look at the SWOT analysis of it. We'll just talk about the SWOT analysis of it and see where we can come in order for us not to be displaced as an health and safety practitioner, which is very, very important. In as much as it comes with its own threats, I believe there's also an opportunity which we just need to delve into and tap from it. So until then, I just want to keep us with this in mind, so that when we see the flyer around online, we should find a way to even invite others to come and tap from it. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share my view, and also for your contribution. I will say thank you very much. Hope to see you next week, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. So, Stefan, one thing